Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Jenna and this is Apple Dolly Creations. Thank you for joining me. Let me know when you're here so I can welcome you. And let's get pulled up over here. Okay. So say hi when you hop on. And I don't have to search for me today. There we go. Well, what's going on? Say hi when you're here. There we go. Hi Jody, how are you? Thank you for being here. Are you feeling any better? Oh, thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate it. So we're making a casserole cover. So this is for hot or cold. And I look like a mess because I don't feel good today. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn you around and put you up here so that y'all can see what I'm doing. Hi Donna, I'm glad you made it home. It sounded like you had a nice time. Everyone needs to get away once in a while for a reset. So what we're making is a casserole cover. Yeah, it's going to take you a while to get back on your feet. So we need 2 pieces of fabric, 21 by 21. I'm trying not to cough. So this is my main fabric, and this is my lining. Get you over here so you can see. Main fabric, lining. You need 2 pieces of Insulbright or 2 pieces of 100% cotton batting. I'm using Insulbright only because it retains the heat better. So the one thing about Insulbright is this silver. Hi Patty. This silver is aluminum. There's aluminum shavings inside of here. Well, Jody, you know, sometimes that's God's way of saying you're doing too much and you need to slow down. So this silver is aluminum shavings in there. It does not interfere with sewing it. So, but this cannot go in the microwave like for bowl cozies. So you need 2 pieces of either 100% cotton because you're going to be putting heat on this. So you don't want it to start to melt. So 100% cotton or Insulbright, 2 pieces, 21 by 21, and 2 pieces of your fabric. This is my fabric. This is my main fabric, and this is my lining. 100% cotton because we're applying heat. We're taking a casserole out of the oven and putting in here to take somewhere. You want 100% cotton and 100% cotton thread because even your thread will melt. So I decided, oh, then you need 2 pieces of fabric, either one. You need 7 by 7, and these are your loops that your handle is going to go through, and your handle is 5 by 23. So these are scraps that of everything that I've been making, because we've made pot holders, we've made a lid knob pot holder. Let's see, what else do we make? A frying pan pot holder. We're going to be doing dish towels. This is a casserole carrier. I am making all of this for a gift for somebody, and my label. So I decided to quilt this. This is only for looks. This is not something that you need to do. But what I did was I started at one corner and went across to the opposite corner. Yeah, Jody, you want to take it easy, because the last thing you want to do is end up in the hospital. I started at one corner and worked all the way across to the other corner. I did 2.5-inch marks. So you can see I used a water-soluble dark pen so you could see this. This is only for looks. This is not anything that you have to do. You could even go from one corner to the other and just sew a straight line, an X on the front of it if you wanted. If you wanted to dress this up even more, hi Jan, thank you for sprinkling. If you wanted to dress this up even more, you could do these lines in a decorative stitch. But just know, when you do a decorative stitch, you're going to use more thread and bobbin. So if you're doing a decorative stitch, make sure you got a couple bobbins sitting aside. Thank you, Patty, for sprinkling. I appreciate that. So this is a very simple, easy to sew beginner project, a quick project. If you want to make a casserole carrier and take a dish somewhere and then give the casserole carrier as a gift for the host, you can do that. So I've got most of this already sewn. I think there's like 5 rows that I need to still sew. So I went from corner to corner instead of side to side. Hi, Mom. I just like that look better. Now, is it going to make much of a difference when we put this all together? Probably not. That's just something that I do. So let's pull the machine over here. So when you put, oh, and if you see here, see these zigzag lines? Well, you can't see it on that side. My batting was not quite 21 inches. So what I did was, you can join one piece of batting to another. And how you do that is you take straight edges and butt them together. Don't overlap. Butt them together. And I just do a wide zigzag over that. Because you could do that on a quilt too when you're putting it together. You don't want to overlap, because wherever that's overlapped, depending on where it is, you're going to feel it through your fabric. So if you butt these side to side, just butt them together and do a wide zigzag over the top. Can you see that? Then no one's the wiser, because you only see it from the, hi Brenda, from the inside. And once we get all put together, nobody will ever know. See, on this side you cannot tell it. But this piece of batting was 4 inches shorter than I needed. So I just took my scraps, my pieces. That's why I tell you, don't throw your pieces away. You can even take pieces this size and zigzag them together, and then add another piece and build a larger piece of batting. But you have to start off with straight edges. And if you don't, if you have an old machine and you don't have a zigzag on it, you can just do this by hand and whip stitch it together, just as long as they're not overlapped. So see how I added a piece here, and then I added a long strip along the edge. So that's the way there is no waste. So I'm going to fold this up to go under and get this straight. And we're just doing a straight stitch, 1/4 inch foot. I'm putting my needle on the line that I drew, because normally I wouldn't use a dark pen on a white background, but I want you to see that. So back stitch, even though this is going to be in a seam, I like to back stitch, because once you start putting your fabrics together, those stitches could potentially come loose. So all I did was pin the 2 pieces together and then as I sew it, I'm removing the pins. So as you're putting your big pieces of fabric under the throat here, just roll them up. But this is a beginner sewing project. I'm going to pull the machine closer. There we go. So you start off with 2 pieces of fabric, 21 by 21, and 2 pieces of Insul Bright or 100% cotton, 21 by 21. Now this piece of Insul Bright is just a little larger than I need, so we are going to cut it down. So as I go, I'm just rolling it and starting on the next line. So I knew y'all wouldn't want to watch me, so I don't know how many straight lines, so I just left the last few for you to see. Now see how this is bubbled here? I'm going to straighten that out just so my fabric underneath, even though it has the lines going the opposite direction, I don't want to grab a piece of fabric that I don't want and then have to take those few stitches out. So you always want to make sure whatever you're sewing is flat on your machine. So by drawing these lines, if you have a problem keeping your lines straight, this is a good way to learn how to keep lines straight. Now when you're doing such a large piece of fabric, it's hard to judge it. So drawing the lines is a great help. So no matter what you're sewing, always straighten your fabric out, because nobody wants to grab that seam ripper. So how's everybody's weekend been? See, as I'm doing it, I keep turning that. So this is not getting in my way, because if I didn't roll it up, I would end up sewing over a part of this and then have to take it back out. Whoops, I unthreaded my needle. So I just used my acrylic roller, my sewing roller, and did 2.5 inches all the way across to get this grid drawn. That's what I did. So this one probably, I'm still going to sew it. It's going to catch at the very tip of that fabric, because my batting is just a little bit bigger. Just so when I put these 2 pieces together, yeah, see, it just caught the very tip there. Now I chose 2.5 inches across, but that just gives it a nice look. So what we're doing is now I'm going to trim this down. because I'm going to put my pieces together. See, it's just a little bit bigger. This piece of Insul Bright, for some reason, was not cut straight. So, who knows what I did. So, I had to angle it on there to get it straight. And I figured that this was just a big scrap piece I had. So we're just trimming it down to the fabric, which is 21 by 21. See, I got to get scissors sharpened again. So a rotary cutter would be so much easier here, but I don't have the table space for everything. When you have a sewing room that is a little smaller than you need, okay, we got that trimmed down. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my other piece of fabric. Now this doesn't have a right or wrong, and we're going to match these up. So you can use the same fabrics, you can use coordinating fabric, and we're putting our other piece of batting. Now there's no right or wrong way to put this. You can put the silver side up, or you can put it down. There's no right or wrong way. I have done it both ways, and I have never seen a difference in it. So I'm lining up my edges. We're going to sew all the way around, leaving an opening for turning. So this is a very simple project, and this batting is a little bigger too. Hi Debbie, how are you? We are making a casserole cover or carrier. So I'm just making sure all my fabrics are lining up and pinning. So if you do have a booth or you do shows, these sell really fast because they are hot or cold. They fit anywhere from a 9 by 13 pan all the way to a casserole dish, a small bowl. So we're going to have to trim this one down too. So I'm just spreading everything out, making sure it's all lined up. And I'm going to trim this down before I sew. So let's flip it over. So Debbie, I think I have to go back and follow you again because I'm not getting your notification. There's a whole bunch of people I'm not getting notifications for. What is FB doing again? because I found out I had to go back and follow Donna and a few others. Okay, I got a wrinkle here in my fabric. We don't want wrinkles. So if you want my notifications with all the Facebook changes and you don't want to miss me or any other creator you're following, the Telegram app is very helpful. I know, I've lost some too. My numbers have gone down in since like Wednesday. My numbers have gone down. And then today I got some new followers, so I don't know either what's going on. I don't know if my algorithm is messed up or they're doing something again. Okay. So I'm going to turn this to make sure that on this side everything feels right. And I'm going to trim this down. So I have, I've lost my scissors. How could you lose scissors? Okay, Jenna. Well, we're just going to get another pair. So I make my own labels that I sew on. I said that, I guess, in another video. And somebody asked me to do a video how I do that. So I am going to show that in a video. Because it's very simple. It's just printing on fabric. Why do I have a bubble? Okay. I'm going to have to take this apart and do this again. Get this all straight. So this is why I always turn my project over to look at both sides before I start sewing. So now I have pins on both sides. I need them all on one. So I'm going to do a video how I make my labels. I make them in two sizes. This is a sew-on one. And then I have one that is longer that I sew in a seam, like on my memory bears. But this way, if somebody wants to contact me and they lose my contact information, they have it sewn right into their project. Okay, so okay, make sure I have no pins now on this side. There's one. We're good. So I'm going to sew all the way around, leaving an opening. So I'm putting a pin going the opposite direction. That way I know I have to stop sewing, because you can't sew over a pin going the wrong way. Now, a lot of people, they'll just make a line and they know that's their stop and start. I sew straight over that. That's why I do a pin, because I can't sew over that. That forces me to stop. I don't know if FB's doing some kind of another update or not. So I was watching a guide today, and he was talking about algorithms and stuff. So he was saying that the first 30 to 90 minutes after posting, whatever engagement you get in that amount of time depends on if you are promoted or not. If you're pushed to the top of the promotions of what they do. I used to worry about the algorithm all the time. I don't anymore, because it just drove me crazy. So I'm just going right around the edge. About a 1/4 inch from the end, I'm stopping and turning. And we have done this 100 times on a lot of different projects. It's the same no matter how big or small your project is. Just sewing around, leaving an opening. So if you're having a problem keeping your stitches straight when you can see the throat plate of your machine, pick one of these lines and make sure your edge of your fabric is following it. Put a piece of tape there, slide a rubber band over the whole base and follow that. Getting your sewing straight is just something that you have to practice. See, I like to run, I know I have a 1/4 inch foot, so I like to run the edge of my fabric at the edge of my machine. Right on the edge of that foot. So this is almost like doing a great big pot holder, the way we're assembling it together. I'm not pushing my fabric through, but because I have so many layers, I am pushing the fabric down that's in front of my foot. That just helps all that thickness. Now you can use a walking foot, and we have not done that on here yet. A walking foot, it's huge, but the foot moves. It just walks right over top of your fabric. You actually see the presser foot moving up and down. But they're a little pricey. That's why I don't use it on here. Depending on your machine, they could get really pricey. But we are going to do one day. Just because I've had several people asking about one. But it does help if you have really thick fabric. Like you're doing a quilt. I am making a casserole carrier. This is for hot or cold. So you have 2 pieces of fabric, 21 by 21, 2 pieces of batting, 21 by 21, 2 pieces 7 by 7, and 1 piece 5 by 23. Okay, we are back where we started. Let's grab all these pins and turn this. We're going to clip our corners so that we don't have excess fabric. So these corners we're going to clip. Now if you have really thick, a lot of thickness here, I would start cutting on the side and then go across and take some of that batting out. Clip it like that. But this is good. All 4 corners. And all you're doing is clipping almost up to where your stitches are. So we're going to turn this whole thing. We're just going to pull it all out, and then we're going to top stitch this whole thing together. Make sure your corners are all pushed out as far as you can get them. So I'm going to do it with my finger first, and then I'm going to use a chopstick. So it looks like a big pillowcase, doesn't it? So if you get most of that bulk out of those corners, you should be able to push those out to be pretty pointy. Now you can round these also. I've done that. That looks nice too. Do all 4 corners. Okay. So then I'm just going to pull it to get all of that pulled out. I'm going to go corner to corner. Now our opening. Once you pull this, let's flip this around. Once you pull this, those edges should automatically turn in because you got that seam. Now I'm going to work this out. And I'm going to put a pin. Wherever I need to work it out, and just by rolling it between your fingers, you can work those edges out. So there's our opening. So they should just almost naturally just roll right in. If you're having a problem getting those to roll in, you can use your stick glue on it. But when you do that, make sure that it's the washable kind. And if you use it, then you have to iron this. Whatever you use it on, you have to iron to dry that glue before you put it under your needle. Otherwise, you're going to be breaking your thread. So just work that in there. You can use a clip, you can use a pin. Now they make a stick glue that is just for sewing. It's marketed just for sewing. It's no different. If you read the ingredients on both glues, they are exactly the same ingredient, and they're both purple. So that is one way you can tell whether you have the washable or the regular glue. The washable glue is purple. Even on your cheap brands, it's purple. So I'm making sure this is all out. All of those seams are worked to the edge. Isn't that fabric pretty? I love this. I wish I'd have bought more of this when Joann's was going out of business, because I got 2 bolts of this for like $12 for a whole bolt. So we're going to top stitch as close as I can get to the edge. Hi Ronnie, how are you? Are you home or are you working? We are making a casserole cover, or carrier. I keep saying cover, it's a carrier. So when you go to someone's house, you can make one of these and leave it as a hostess gift if you wanted. No, you're at work? Oh, you're fine. Thank you for sprinkling. So this is a project, Ronnie, you could make. This is a very easy sew project. We're working on Ronnie to get her sewing. So I'm going right to the edge of my fabric, running the edge of the fabric right along the side of my presser foot. So it's about 1/4 of an inch. I do too. I really do. I ordered, what I liked about Joann's is their fabric online was cheaper than in store. Yeah, I like that fabric. I wish I would have bought, I think I bought 3 and I think they had 5. So if you're going to make anything, Ronnie, for a kitchen, pot holders, casserole carrier like this, you want to use Insulbright or 100% cotton batting. But Insulbright is silver like this. It has aluminum in it and it retains heat or cold, because this is heat or cold carrier. But this cannot be put in the microwave. So if you make a bowl cozy, the bowl cozy cannot go in the microwave if you're using this. I quit using this. You have to have 100% cotton batting for anything that's heated, like pot holders, hot pads, casserole carrier. But I quit using this in my bowl cozies because a few weeks ago, I sent a customer another set of bowl cozies because she put hers in the microwave. And what happens in the microwave when you got metal? It sparks and it burnt her fabric. So I am no longer using Insulbright in bowl cozies. I'm probably not going to use Insulbright anymore. Instead of having all this kind of batting, just use the 100% cotton. But everything, pot holders, hot pads, this casserole cover, everything has to be 100% cotton. Your fabric, your thread, everything. Because if you use anything with polyester or acrylic, when heat hits it, it's going to start to melt. You're going to find out that you will have like hard areas in your pot holders or your casserole carrier. It will start to melt. And your thread, if it's not 100% cotton, your thread's going to start to melt, and it's going to break, and then your whole thing's going to start to come apart, and you don't want that, especially if you're giving it as a gift or selling them, especially if you're selling them, because your best customers are your repeat ones. The very first pot holder I ever made, thankfully it was for me, fell apart because everything was not cotton. Because in my mind, the threads inside, it's all wrapped up in all the fabric, but it melted, and it fell apart. So that taught me a really good lesson. So you bought regular quilt batting, the puffy kind. That is spun polyester. It will melt. It will melt inside of your project, and you will find your fabric will start getting hard. And that's where the melting is happening. So everything has to be 100% cotton. And I don't think it's any more expensive, my personal opinion, than the regular quilt batting. It's just the 100% cotton is not as thick. It doesn't have the puffiness. Is that a word? So what this top stitching does is just make your edges stay flat. No matter what you're making, it just makes your edges stay flat. Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah, so you can make your pot holders, hot pads. So lately we've been using, because this is a gift that I'm giving somebody. But I will have these for sale if anybody wants one. Our second to the oldest son, they just bought a house. And so they're going to be putting up with us for a few days. Okay, this is not a pattern, Ronnie. There's 2 pieces of fabric, 21 by 21 inch. 2 pieces of, this is Insel Bright. You can use 100% cotton, 21 by 21. 2 pieces of fabric, 7 by 7, and 1 piece of fabric, 5 by 23. I will put those in the description. So there's no real pattern. It's just you have to measure your fabric out. And since videos disappear here on FB a lot, everything is over on YouTube. So if you're not a member or you haven't joined my YouTube channel, please go and do that, because I'm trying to get that built up just in case FB goes down, like it did a couple Fridays ago. Okay, so we have this done. I'm working on a dress here too, so I got that pattern in my way. So I'm going to take my label I don't know where it went, so we'll do it later. And I'll sew it on. So here's our 2 7x7. These are our loops. And this is 5x23. This is our handle. So we're going to sew these. So I'm just doing the same thing I just did. I'm sewing across here, leaving an opening in the center, sewing, then picking up the sewing on the long edge and going over to the short edge. So I'm leaving an opening, and I'm doing that to both of these. And this is my note to self to not sew that closed. So I'm just going to, and back stitch. So this is 7x7 folded in half, 2 of these. Yeah, it'll be in my description. So it's just 4 pieces, wait, 2 pieces of fabric, 2 pieces of batting, 2 7x7 and 1 5x23. So it's just a couple pieces of fabric, and straight sewing is all this is. Most of the things that I do on here are easy beginner sew. I don't do a lot of complicated on here because I don't want anyone to think, well, I can't do that, and get discouraged and put their machine down and never sit behind it again. I would never do that to somebody. Okay, let's sew our long one. We're doing the same thing. Short edge, down, leave an opening, just what we just did. Leave an opening. Hey Kay, you know you're fine. We're making a casserole carrier. If my daughter came over and I had a video scheduled, I reschedule it just so I could spend time with her. So hey, spend time with your kids. So there's my opening. And this is our handle that we're making right now. So this fits anywhere from a small casserole dish to a 9x13. Okay, let's take all these pins out. Well, Ronnie, you try this one. If you have any issues with it, you send me a message and I'll help you through it. Same again, clip in these corners. Now, if you have more than a 1/4 inch there, trim that off. And we are going to turn this. And I did not bring my tube turner, so we're going to do it the hard way. We're going to do it this way. I'm so used to my other sewing room. Everything was in reach. This one is not. It's over there on shelves, and I got to figure out organization for this room, which I keep working on it, and I still don't have it where I like it yet. So we'll get it there. I have a year and 4 months left in this house, so by the time we move out of here, I should have it together. Just have to do it again. So we're going to press that. It is like 107 out today. It is awful. Tony works outside, so I'm glad he gets home before the heat really gets bad. Oh, my quilt, I am going to probably hop on here tomorrow and finish it. I got all the layers together. I have it quilted together. I have to do the edging yet. And we did that on a video a few weeks ago. So I'm going to top stitch all the way around these three. Let's move this. I have like 6 different projects going at the same time. I know people say, why don't you finish one before you start another? But I'm always working ahead for videos or events. And I always like to do a project first to work out any problems I might come across, especially the ones for events, because you only have an hour. Oh man, I know all week it's supposed to be way over 100 here. And the humidity is supposed to be unbearable. So I'm glad Tony, he goes in wee hours of the morning, but he's home before it gets too bad out. But he came home a little while ago, and he is totally wiped from the humidity. He's totally wiped out. So see, when you pull that, how that fabric should naturally just fold inside. Yeah, there. Oh yeah, you're in Texas, so yeah, you always got it. But I don't think we're used to this kind of heat. Not yet, anyway. Not 107. But if you believe, the Bible says in the end days, everything that was will be different. The hot will be cold, the cold will be hot. There will be storms that never had them before. And poor Kentucky, they're flooding again. So we're just top stitching all the way around. I went just a stitch too far. So these do not need batting in them. So on these, I am going to do a seam down the middle just to give it a little bit more structure. That isn't something that you have to do. It's just something that I do. So I'm not starting on the edge of my fabric. I'm starting right where that, putting my needle down right where that stitching is. And starting my center seam right there. So this is a guesstimate. And you'll see in a moment that if you're off that center just a little bit, it's not going to really matter. I'm moving down another stitch just so I stop right on that stitching. And it wouldn't matter if you went all the way to the edge. See, Pennsylvania, weather's in the 90s. That's odd for that area too. Already to be, usually August is the worst here, the end of July, August, but we're already getting it. So this is just going round and round in a circle or a rectangle. Hi, Melissa. Yep, Melissa, we have the same heat advisories out here in middle Georgia, but it's like 107. But the humidity is awful right now. Thank goodness the ones that take over for Tony when he's gone are young. But they're the ones that don't want to work because it's hot out. So we're making a casserole carrier, Melissa. So where's my opening? What side? There it is. So when you're using straight pins, you always want the head of your straight pin going towards you, because the other way around, it's going to be hard to get the straight pin out with your presser foot there. And all we're doing is top stitching. So over the weekend, one of my old videos posted. Now that's the third time I've had an old video just post itself. I don't know if FB is doing it or a glitch. I don't know. But because I didn't do that. So I went back and put replay in the caption because I thought, people's going to wonder, my hair color is different, a different room. Wonder what I'm doing. But that's the third time that has happened, that an old video just reposted itself. Which I'm glad it did, because I didn't have that one on YouTube. So is anybody else experiencing old videos of theirs just appearing? I know, Melissa. It's crazy right now. And I don't know what's going on. Everybody is having the very same issues. It was happening to me so much. Tony had our internet company come and see if it was our box or our service, something. But all of our equipment checked out. But he did have us get a more powerful router since I do videos. Hi, Boom. How are you doing? Yeah, Mom, we don't want the 100 degrees either. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with it. So in two corners, we're putting our small pieces. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my ends and I'm just making a pleat going both directions. Or you can just do one pleat. Just fold it right there in the center. Just do a pleat, just like that. Make sure your ends here are flat. They're all even there. And you want to do that on both sides of both of these pieces. So make sure that whichever direction one pleat is going, the other one's going that same direction. So I'm saying maybe that's a 1/4 inch fold there. There's no right or wrong. If you do a 1/2 inch, it's fine. If you do less, it's fine. Cut that extra thread off. Just make sure that both pleats are going the same way. And that they're all even. So that's what we got. So you want to put it so that your top corners right here are on the edge of your fabric, and you're going to see that it's not laying completely flat there. So that corner is right on the edge of my fabric, and I'm going to put a clip. Now this corner is not going to be on the edge of the fabric. So if you do this, just your top corners are on the edges of your fabric. Grab some of these and bring them over here. That's what it should look like. There's a little bit of a gap there. Now if you wanted to sew that pleat down, you can. It's not necessary. And you'll see that in a moment. But that's what it should look like. Now, directly across from this one, you're putting this one. Let me fold this down and bring this corner up. The very same thing. Corner here meets the edge. So that's what it looks like on both. Just that top corner on both of these is on the edge of the fabric. These bottom corners will not, they'll be like a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch off the edge. Boom, I wish somebody would come and show me how to organize mine, because I went from a really large room where I had 3 6-foot tables to this small room and 1 6-foot table. And I'm having an awful time trying to sew and everything. I have another table that I keep putting up in the living room so I can work on big stuff out there. And it's driving me insane. And I still don't have all my sewing supplies in here. They're still in the garage in totes. So I don't know. I downsized all of this once, and I'm thinking I need to downsize it again. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew along the edge and come down 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and then come back across. So we're just making a rectangle right there on all the edges, all the sides of both of these. Yeah, I keep saying, do I need more containers? Do I need, probably just to get rid of some more stuff. Then I have all the stuff that I used for shows in the garage, which I'm not going to do shows anymore. So I don't know what I'm doing with it all, but I got 1 year and 4 months to figure it all out. So what this does is just reinforces these, because this is what's going to be holding your handle and the weight of your casserole dish. So we just made a rectangle right around that edge, and we're doing that to both sides of both of these. And these are 7 by 7. Get that under the needle. There we go. There we go. So you want to make sure. Someone keeps sending me a message. So I'm going to back stitch here. To come down this other side. because sometimes not even a 6-foot table is big enough when you're doing larger projects. So we're going to cut all of our threads. So this is what happens. See that knot right there? When you don't have your thread under the presser foot when you start sewing, you get that knot there, but you can pick it out and cut it. So let's get all of this, and now we're going to do this side. So we're going to roll this up so we get the bulk out of our way. So you don't want that point hanging off the edge of your fabric. You want it, both of them just butted up together. So if you're a brand new sewer, just know that you're going to have problems with all this bulk of this fabric. But just work it out, keep moving it around, and you will be fine. Just like I'm doing, roll it up. Somewhere here I have a pin. That's why I'm constantly feeling where I'm sewing, because I would rather get stuck by that pin than have my customer get stuck by it. So we're just going to scooch over to this side. So I'm doing probably about a 1/4 inch is how I'm sewing this. But this extra sewing that we're doing right now just stabilizes the loop for all of the weight from whatever your casserole is. Okay, so our handle now goes the opposite direction. So you see the handle is smaller, so it doesn't go all the way to the end. It is smaller than corner to corner. See that? So what we're going to do is we're going to lay it down, get this out of the way, and we're going to make sure that we're going at a diagonal. These are the two opposite corners that we just sewed. Oh no, no air conditioner, and you're extremely hot down there. Oh my goodness. See how it is shorter? Here it is. See, it is shorter. You want it that way. We're going to take this and put it up here. So this corner and this corner is matching the two outer edges. So I did that. So we're going over to this corner and we're going to pull this. So these two corners are lined up on these two edges. And that's what it should look like. See how you have this valley here? That helps with carrying your casserole. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sew all the way around a triangle. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. That's awful. No AC and you're this hot. Our AC is just running like crazy today. So hopefully that'll help you see. I'll put that extra light on. So if you can't see, let me know. So let's pull this a little closer. We're going to sew across, down a little bit, and then back across. Just like we just did. Back stitch, start and stop. Yeah, Ollie's is a nice store. I think ours here went out of business. I used to shop Ollie's back home. Don't want to sew over that pin. So push it all through the throat of your machine and turn it. Don't worry about what's going on back there. Just make sure that under your needle, under your presser foot, is flat. See that? We just did a rectangle. And we're going to the other side and doing the very same. And then we're going to put a casserole dish in this because this will be finished. So if you have a bulk of fabric going under your needle, your presser foot will raise higher. Just by pushing your presser foot lever, it'll raise higher for you to get more fabric underneath of there. So our youngest son just let us know that he's buying a house now. He's buying a huge house and he's not even married or with somebody. But he's buying a huge house. I guess he's planning for the future one day. And he's moving from a tiny little efficiency apartment. But he's a coal miner in Pennsylvania, and he works such long hours, so he deserves it. So this is completed. So you can use it this way, or you can flip it and use it this way. Even though your handles are on the other side, you can use it either way. What I'm doing is clipping all these little threads off. Okay. So, let me get my casserole dishes. So here's your 8x8. You take your handle and you take it through one loop and through the other loop and carry it. So here's a 9x13. Oops, that one just fell in the wastebasket. The same way. Through a loop, angle it, and through the loop and carry it. So you can go from a 9x13 to a small bowl, to a small casserole, and carry them. And it'll keep it hot, it'll keep it cold. So what do y'all think? Would you make one? If you do, send me a picture. So you just take your handle through the loop, bring up the other loop, and just carry it. Wherever, just make sure that your casserole is centered in there. So what do you all think? I lost all my comments. There they are. Let me get my comments back here. Okay. Thanks, Jan. Yeah. So it's 2 pieces of fabric, 21 by 21, 2 pieces of batting, cotton batting, either Insul Bright or cotton, 21 by 21, 2 pieces of fabric, 7 by 7, and 1 piece for your handle, 5 by 23. Yes, that's because how early everybody is probably still at work. Thank you. So if you make these, let me know. Send me a picture of yours. See, this is why we did this. But you can use it both directions. This inside and this outside. There's no right or wrong side to this. I keep losing my comments. Yeah. If I missed your comment, I go back and I read them. It's hard for me to read them around my neck. But I can see them over here on my phone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. So God bless all of you. Have a wonderful day, evening. Thank you for the hearts. And I will see you on the next one. God bless. Thank you.